Welcome everyone to Ladder Daily Digest and Momo No Mo. We feature Tuesday nights with Tim. Tim, thanks for letting us in your living room virtually.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Tim.
You're welcome. Good to have you here.
A huge test.
And so Trevor's muted. Megan might come on. I put the link in the chat.
Hey, Diamond Dave, you coming in?
And so we can see who's going to join up pretty soon. But Tim, since Tim has been a Mormon the longest, he has. How do you know stuff about church security, Tim? How do you know the history of the church security?
My first run-in with church security was at the April 1973 General Conference.
Wow.
When I had a briefcase with my scriptures and a notepad in it, and I was not able to take my briefcase into the tabernacle. They kept my briefcase, let me take my scriptures and my notepad. But after that first experience, I didn't take anything the next. I was, right before my mission, my bishop and his wife drove me to Salt Lake and dropped me off at the Travel Lodge. I guess it was East Temple, and so I'd walk to conference and back, and I saw my cousins and stuff, but the first time I walked in Saturday morning and they took my briefcase away, and I'm going, why? Oh, you might have a bomb in it. And I went, oh, wow.
Did you?
And then, yeah, I had a Book of Mormon. I had a quad. So yes, a bomb.
That is a bomb.
That is a bomb. So that was my first run-in. And then I found out later on that it was Martell Bird, who was head of church security. When I went to the mission home, and I walk in, and he picks me out from all the other missionaries because I got. Okay, we moved to Colorado Springs. We moved from LA to Colorado Springs. I got a haircut in Colorado Springs. Then we go to Wyoming to see my grandparents and relatives in Afton. And I got another haircut, right? So I had 2 haircuts. By the time I get to the mission home, Martell Bird picks me out. Hey, look at this guy. Look at his hair. I remember when my grandma and everybody was saying, "Ooh, look at it. Looks so sharp as a missionary," And he picked me out. And I says, "I recognize you," And I says, "I was at conference," and I kind of shared. He says, "I vaguely remember that, but he just saw so many people." But that was my first encounter with church.
You probably looked spiffy with 1 haircut, but with 2, you were looking incredible.
Yeah, yes. It was funny. It was so funny.
Diamond Dave, there's a little bit of a hum on your end, and then we can hear you tap a lot. So mute until you're ready to
let me reboot. We'll see if that changes. I'll reboot my computer.
Okay. We should have invited Brent Metcalf on because he would work for church security.
Yeah.
He has a story where Boyd K. Packer and Boyd's wife were in the back of the car. It was like a 15 or 20-minute drive home from some event, and the spouses talked zero to each other.
I was going to tell that same story when you guys said that. I was like, that story is perfect.
Who was the other one? Was it was Packer and who else? Whose wife?
Packer's wife.
Packer and his wife.
Who else? Oh, the 2 of them never talked to each other.
Yeah. Or him or no one. No one talked the whole time.
That's a story from Brent from Mormon Stories when Brent was on. Mm-hmm. And John DeLynn comments about how strong Brent looks. And Brent said, and he says, "No wonder you were a security guard." And Brent said he's only been working out for like 5 years. And he was a security guard 20 years ago. Yeah. Right, or something like that.
He worked out all the time. Brent worked out all the time. When I went to his apartment, man, he had equipment there. He worked out a lot.
He said he wasn't very strong though when he was work security.
That's not true at all. That's not
No, he
true
was
at
saying
all.
he didn't start working out till after
That's what he
because
said.
he was in security pretty early in the
Oh,
Hoffman
maybe.
times.
Yeah, because it was 84,
Yeah.
Right. He wasn't
85.
Exmo until mid to late 80s, right?
Yeah.
Because he was threatened because he wrote things for Sunstone or other. Did he write for Mormon History Association or just
I
Sunstone?
don't think Brent ever wrote anything for anybody. He worked
No, I
for
did
Steve Christensen.
for the Seventh East Press.
I don't know if he had a
I know this.
byline.
Yeah, I remember he wrote stuff for them. I remember in his
Did
Mormon
he?
stories.
That was
Okay.
where he first got in trouble because of his writings.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I don't remember.
And he did all this stuff with Bogle and
His parents were in charge of all the temples. His dad was in charge of the
yeah.
temples. And his mom had seat covers on everything. He used to talk about he hated going to their house because she had those vinyl covers on everything.
My grandma
That
was
always
Weird.
makes it a little more comfy when you get to
Yeah.
sit on that vinyl.
Oh,
like
yes.
My grandparents
I used to go
like blankets. Yeah.
I used to go stay with my mom and dad, and I'd sleep on the floor while I was in Arizona. And they had these brand new pillows, but they wouldn't take the plastic covers off of them that they came in.
Oh, geez.
So I had to sleep on this cellophane covered pillows, and it was just sweaty where my face was. I never understood that.
Keep them nice for longer, I guess. Crazy.
And then I had a friend, Steve Larson, I think was his name, worked for church
Good name.
security. And he told me, because I went to conference, what was it, 77 or 78?
There are way too many Larsons, is all I know.
Yeah.
How dare you.
And he told me how they had photographs of all of the feminists, and that when they came in, that they knew who they were and that they separated them so they couldn't sit as a block. That was probably 76 or 77 when the ERA was coming about. And Steve told me, yeah, see that girl over there? She's a feminist. This one, when they came in, we separated them. We made sure they couldn't sit together. So they have photographs of everybody. I like when I used to go to the archives to do research, and Steve was running the desk. He showed me they had a book of pictures of anti-Mormon. They had a Tanners and Mike Marquardt and all these people in there. They even had my picture in there, but they knew I wasn't a threat then. But they had pictures of everybody who came in there, so they knew who they were. Yeah.
ERA.
ICMC.
You give women equal rights, and everybody's going to want them.
Doggone it. That's a problem, huh, Megan?
But
You
Gene,
give a woman a
reminds me
cookie,
your
you want equal rights.
Unequal
That's the
rights.
way that goes.
Megan,
And
your comments
if
about
I
how Larson's
look
a
like
common
I'm
name.
tired, it's because I stayed up late watching Family Home Evening last night, learning about Lehi and his sons crossing the ocean in the boats.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, thank
It
you.
was
Thanks
What
for
time
your
did you wake
sacrifice.
up?
I appreciate you sacrificing.
Did you
your
wake up
sleep
early,
to watch
Randy?
your show.
I did. I woke up early this morning for some unknown.
What time is that?
You know what? It's my little chihuahua woke me up. He seems to think that when he has to
5?
pee, I have to let him out of the house.
I've been there, yeah.
Oh, there's
Randy and I
Kiki?
hey, Kiki.
Randy and I interviewed a rocket scientist once, and I posited maybe we could do a show where it would have been just as easy for Nephi and Lehi to build a rocket ship, and it would have been faster. Because
Probably
yeah,
true.
if God
I
is
mean,
your
why
architect,
didn't God teach Nephi how to build a rocket instead of a ship?
then
Yeah.
you can handle being around bees and maybe one urinal in a.
Well, and
Yeah.
then they wouldn't have had to be blown back on the waters for many days.
Yeah,
Could
you
have
wouldn't
gotten
need
there sooner, and
a hole in the top and the bottom.
yeah.
No, that
Oh,
wasn't
wait,
Nephi.
but
That
we're
was the
mixing up
No,
two
that
Jaredites.
was
stories
the
here.
brother to
Yeah.
that was
That was
brother
the
Oh,
to
brother
Jaredites.
Jared. That's
yeah,
right.
How dare you?
it
How
had
do
to
you
be
do that
tight
horrible?
like a dish,
That's right.
which is different
Reminds
than
me of
tight.
Borat.
Never mind.
And how they dealt with all the pee and poop in that boat, I'd like to know.
You
There you
have
go.
to time it just right. to where when it rolls over, open the hatch, let it all fall into the ocean. Close
Like
it down.
flush, like the
Randy,
first
Doc
flush
had a
toilet.
plan.
I
Say
know.
When I
You know, I
hear,
was
Regan.
thinking.
What was that?
when I hear tight like unto a dish, it makes me think of Borat, where one of his famous lines is like, "She is tight like a man's anus." That just makes me think of that. Tight like a dish. Just makes
That's.
me think of that for some reason.
I
I
can see how
stopped
that would
myself from saying
lead you
tight like
right to
dish
Borat.
that.
as
Don't blame
opposed
me.
to
It's
tight like
Borat.
right.
And then I had another run-in with them in the early 90s when
Ooh.
I
Them
got
meaning the
on
feminists or them meaning the
church security.
church security. Okay, got it.
Opposite
You're
of
See,
kind of a
feminist.
troublemaker, Tim.
okay, when my mother was at BYU, she lived in Amanda Knight Hall. Yeah, I think it was Amanda. It was the same place that I was the language training mission. And during the war, this is true, the girls were on the top floor and the boys were on the middle, second floor.
So
Okay.
they're like the
No
girls on top
way.
back then.
Yeah, girls on top
Yeah,
back
girls
then.
on top.
Right. And
Go
she
girls.
dated Reed Benson and she dated Tommy Monson and all these people, she talked about them. And I mentioned that my mom knew Tommy Monson when, he was in the 12th. And they called my bishop. My bishop says, "What is this about Monson and your mom?" I says, "My mom went to BYU during World War II or right after, and he was a student there. And she also dated Reed Benson, all these guys. She was dating all these guys." Oh, okay. And then we had a regional conference in Palm Springs, right? We drive down to Palm Springs and Monson's there. And though the day before we go to a leadership meeting with Monson and Diaga and somebody else. Oh, I think it was, I can't, maybe I don't want. And so during his talk, he mentioned something that I said about him. He quoted it verbatim, and I went, "They knew right then." I said, "I don't know if he knew that I was there, but he knew about it." It blew me away. I was like, "All right, okay."
It sounds to me, Tim, like your mom was kind of a general authority groupie.
They weren't general authorities then. They were just
They were
Horse
GATB, general authorities
They
to
were-
be.
to be, or
But it
Very
was a
generous.
small, close knit group, I'm
it
sure.
was a small, close-knit group, yeah.
Mhm.
And then the last time was we had a regional conference at some college in San Bernardino, and my kids wanted to. We were in this big arena. My kids wanted to walk around on the the level between one seat and the other, and they wouldn't let us go behind the speaker. There were two church security guys standing. You can't go there. And my kid ran across into there. Says, "You're not going to touch my kid. I'm going to go get him. You're not going to get him." All right, all right. And she caused a great commotion and caused a stir. Oh, and people were looking at, "How can you do it? Let your kid do that?" Hey man, my kid's getting antsy. Other parents were doing it too, but my daughter Sarah had to go running across. So funny. Cracked me up. Cracked me up.
That's a cracker upper for sure.
That's a cracker upper. Anyway.
Hey, I brought a video I wanted to share with y'all, and most of you have seen
Oh
it,
yeah.
but I promised our loyal, faithful listeners that I would bring it on board. So if you don't
Oh.
mind, I'm just gonna show it real quick. I love to put up decorations for Halloween, for Christmas, for Valentine's Day, for the 4th of July. I'm a decorating maniac, and my neighbors love it. I'm kind of like the vice president of first impressions of the neighborhood, because once you come through the gate of our community, we're the first house you see. And
So
neighbors have stopped.
you live in a secure community?
It's rather secure, yeah. And neighbors stop and knock on our door and bring us gifts and thank us for representing the neighborhood with our wonderful decorations. And for Halloween, I like to put up decorations for the kids. Well, last week, Tuesdays with Tim, I had to leave suddenly. I had to leave the after show because Amanda came in and said someone just sliced up our decorations, our inflatable decorations. So I went right to the security cameras, and this is what I found, and it's just maddening. But let me make that a little bit bigger.
Oh, that was
Make it
good.
bigger.
How'd you do that?
Make it bigger. You just have made it bigger, Randy. Go.
Yeah, like
There
that.
you go.
Yeah.
I know I'll put it back. I just need to find
Okay.
the little play button here. This is what I found on my security camera. That's a big glowing pumpkin and a black cat. And that's our crotchety old neighbor lady who had no idea I had a security camera right there. And not only does she slice open the inflatables, she stops and realizes the light is still on, so she cuts the cord so that I can never fix it or use them again.
I wish you got electrocuted.
She destroys the pumpkin first, and then she goes and does a freaking autopsy on my black cat. That
Bad girl, bad lady.
That lady is
yeah,
crazy.
this is right. I mean, if unbelievable. If you look up to the right, above that, that's the gate into our community. That's pretty ballsy of her to just wander in with a sharp knife and slash them up.
Yeah,
Maybe
crazy.
she thought
So,
you were
yeah.
at Mormon church.
Right? Yeah. So let me just get rid of this row here.
Did you get the authorities involved?
Yes, I actually did.
Nice. Yeah, you
That
should.
really burned me up.
And then sewer and small claims court.
Well, probably not worth that. Here's what I told the police. I said, if you just tell her, give me $100 to replace those decorations. I replaced them anyway, and it was $200. But I said, tell her to give me $100, trespass her from my property, and I won't press charges. But she hasn't paid me yet. So I called the deputy today and left a message saying, I'm ready to press charges on this curmudgeon. Where does she get off?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Too much free time.
Nuts.
Is there a Grinch figure around the Halloween season?
Well, I would love to put one in her yard because she just lives a hop, skip, and a jump up the hill from me.
You could write a children's book about her, and maybe they'll do a movie, and Jim Carrey could be in it.
Oh,
'Cause
that's an idea.
He could
You
wear
know,
a
I
wig.
figured since tonight's episode was on church security, and since I was LDS at one time, I thought this fit right in with this whole security thing.
Yeah, it's perfect fit.
And Megan, we're trying to have a conversation here, and you're not giving us any time to talk. What's going on?
I'm
Stop
so sorry that I
picking.
keep interrupting.
I know, right?
I just have to say what I have to say, and I don't want anyone else to have an opportunity to speak.
Well, by the way, we're very, very grateful to our sponsor tonight. It's Michael Hunt Party Supplies. And if any of you know Mike, you'll know that he's a very workable individual. Megan, do you know Mike?
I do know Mike. We've been friends for a long time, actually. I call him pretty often. Whenever I call him, I just say to Siri, "Hey Siri, call Mike Hunt," and she obliges. We have a good conversation. Michael is adept at marketing. He has a great store. I appreciate everything that he does in the retail space. So what I love about Mike Hunt is that he always has a sale on Tuesdays. And what he always says when people come into the store is see you next Tuesday.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Megan. Yeah, remember, for a good time, call Mike Hunt. He'll take care of you, and we appreciate his sponsorship tonight.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep, left them all speechless, didn't we?
I was kind of
Yes, you
wondering
did.
where Diamond Dave went. Maybe he rebooted his computer and it's still rebooting.
So, Tim, what's the conversation tonight? It's church security, right? You wanted
Yes.
to delve into the history?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Tim, what's the first thing the church did for security that you're aware of?
The Whistling and Whittling Brigade. Not much until Nauvoo, really. Probably they had some, but.
I wonder if they had locks on the chapel doors.
The persecution in Missouri, or Zion's Camp.
Yeah, so they did Zion's Camp as a security measure.
And the Danites formed the Danites as church security.
So when I first heard about the whistling and whittling deacons or elders or whatever, I assumed that they were looking out for non-members and ne'er-do-wells. But it turns out they're actually mostly looking out to people who are talking bad against Joseph Smith or Brigham Young. And they're actually in-house sort of threatening people.
Yep.
Well, how about that? It's so incredible, this whole subject, that I think we're all trying to think of the many experiences we've had with church security. There's nothing more frustrating than trying to go into play pulling sticks, like in the time of Joseph Smith, and the chapel doors are locked. Who do you call? Joseph?
Of course.
Just
interesting. If you think about it, they probably started building churches around the time they got to Ohio. I don't know that they have the Kirtland Temple.
They built temple.
But when's the first meeting house that they ever built? Do you know where that is, Tim?
In England. The oldest church meeting house is in England.
There you go. And the reason why the church has conferences is because they would all go out and do their own things during a season, and then they would call a conference, and then they would have like a tent or orchard sort of gathering place, and they would, just like King Benjamin, start just preaching to the masses, right?
We really don't have much in the way of buildings per se. I mean, like in Nauvoo, they met in the Grove and preach every Sunday, Tuesday and Sunday.
They did have a church building in Nauvoo, though.
Right.
Yeah.
By the time they got to Nauvoo, they had thousands of...
It was the one at the end of Parley Street, right near the river.
Okay.
River?
In a van. You say that the first chapel was in England. That's a long ways to go to church.
The oldest chapel is in England.
Because it was started here in the US of A.
Right. Yes.
That just seems a little silly that.
Well, the oldest LDS chapel is in England.
Maybe it's oldest continuous or something.
It is a massive confusion. I know.
All the other ones got abandoned, I suppose.
Nemo did something on it, I think, or somebody did. I think it was Nemo.
It makes sense.
Something on the oldest LDS chapel.
Right, and the church actually was really almost like the Catholic Church, where everybody did their own thing in their own areas until the 60s, till they did correlation. And so, like the traveling elders, the apostles that went to England, they just did the church the best that they could without really oversight, because they were in charge of the mission field. And so they would print up flyers, brochures, come to Palm Springs, and see the Mormons. I'm just making fun of it. I'm trying to think of a brochure, like come see the Mormons,
Well, they printed that book, Meet the Mormons.
That got conference time.
That they handed out to people.
I know that this is not our topic tonight, but did any of you guys watch the special broadcast where the new first presidency was announced?
No, I was at the movies
Saw the
this
headline.
afternoon.
I did.
I watched a little bit
I was
of it.
surprised.
I'm actually kind of shocked, because I really was expecting Bednar to be called.
Same.
But now that I think about it, honestly, I realize that Bednar probably would have given a lot of pushback to Dallas.
The
hoax.
Dallas?
Yeah.
Right.
Dallas hoax. Okay.
I'm kind of
Too
glad
many
the
alpha
little
males.
freak didn't get in. He's
I'm
a
glad
rude.
he's not also.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
rude.
that I think Dallas realized that Susan's husband would be a threat to the initiatives that he wanted to install. So
Yeah, Dallas Oaks,
yeah.
the new prophet.
Dallas hoax. Dallas hoax.
Dallas hoax. Yeah.
Dallas
Helen
hoax.
H.
The Oaks and the Oaks are pronounced consecutively, not separate.
Individually.
Yeah.
It's all one word.
Yeah,
Yes,
Who was
Dallas
that?
hoax.
Dallas
Who was
Oaks.
it that messed his name up?
Somebody who's going to get demoted in a minute, like 5 minutes from now. Like he's going to be manning a radar tower out of Alaska. And so
One of the
whatever
12
his current
apostles,
job
right?
is.
Just
Was it
cut a
Renlands?
finger off.
I don't even know. I don't even remember. I just turned it on and was listening to it while I was cooking dinner. So
What struck me the most was that the testimonies that they gave were very short and to the point. The whole thing only lasted, 15, maybe 20 minutes?
yeah, we could
That's
play
good.
it right now and we'd
That's
have
good.
more content than this panel has put out tonight. So
No kidding.
How dare you?
Well, it's true. Someone says something and then there's this quiet pause.
Every 20
mean,
Being
minutes.
respectful.
being respectful of each other so that we don't talk
Yeah.
over each other. Exactly.
Yeah, well, Tim, I think you're in charge. Do you want us to pull up that video?
Would we get a copyright strike?
Maybe.
It's a public video, is it not?
It is a public video.
Okay, go ahead. I did
We were
not see it.
invited.
I was at the movies, so I spent all afternoon watching movies. So if you want to play it, go ahead. Go ahead.
As a member of the church, I think I am entitled to play it.
Don't
to share
forget
with
though,
my
Randy,
friends.
it's not at LDS.org. It's at churchofjesuschrist.org.
See, it's happening. They're changing the name. The
Yeah.
Church
I mean,
of
it's
Jesus
been like that
Christ.
for a long time, but I just thought I'd remind you.
Somebody go to the Secretary of State and pull the corporation. What is it?
Articles of Incorporation.
The
Yes,
Articles
thank
of
you.
Incorporation.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
go pull it. Quick, go take a look.
Right.
Just think
Because they had to sign it.
kids in primary might have to start learning the Articles of Incorporation instead of the Articles of Faith.
Exactly. Kinder Kim,
Yeah,
I hate to do it. I hate to do it, but I think it's worth it just for the fact that the person who is in charge of announcing the program gets the name of the president of the corporation wrong. And that's not the only thing that he gets wrong.
It's because
Let's
I'm thinking of
play
two
it.
things. There's two things. First of all, he wanted to make sure he's thinking of Harris. So he says Dallas and
Dallas Harris Oaks.
Dallas
Does he
Harris.
really?
Yeah.
He does.
I got it. Okay. Now we
100%.
got to play it. We got to play it.
Or the other thing I was thinking is maybe they're building so many temples, and so many temples have been announced in Texas that whoever was saying this did a Freudian slip about Dallas temples being taken off the table just a week earlier.
Yeah, I think he was thinking about JR. Who shot JR? He was wondering
Right.
about
I've
that.
Who
been
did
thinking about
shoot
that.
JR? And do we still know
Who shot
anything
JR?
about
Oh,
that
wait,
mystery?
It was a
It is
dream.
still
It was a
unsolved.
dream. It was
Just
a
think
dream.
if you're in the quorum of the 12 apostles and the Dallas show's on, everybody in the world is wondering who shot JR. But you're an apostle, you know.
I have
You know,
only
because you have the power of discernment, and
You can see
it's been
around
revealed
corners.
to you who really shot JR. You know already.
Yeah.
Yeah, the prophet shot
I
JR.
just
you
want to
have it-
say, look at the bromance that's going on here between Dallas and Christofferson.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you've
don't
got
know.
it queued up, Megan?
Yeah, so I don't
Oh,
know
okay.
why it is, but do any of you guys remember Christofferson's talk where he was talking about this
No.
farmer who refused to cut his hay on the Sabbath day? And he was a carrot farmer as well, and everybody loved his carrots, but he refused to pick carrots on the Sabbath day. For whatever reason, whenever I see Elder Christofferson, all I can think is Brother Coatle's carrots and the
There you
cut
go.
hay that lay in the field all during the Sabbath day because he refused to bale it on the Sabbath day. I don't know. I guess
that's
it's
how
my
my
ADHD
cousins
brain.
that's how my cousins were on their ranch. The only thing we did on Sundays was because the cows had to be milked.
Right.
We milked well, if we thought it was going to rain, we would rake the hay, but that was about it.
Yeah. Well, here we go.
Well,
Oh, and move
So
pipe.
We
Special
welcome
Move
you
pipe.
from the conference center in Salt Lake City, Utah, on this memorable occasion with the passing of our beloved prophet, Russell M. Nelson. Members of the Quorum of the 12 met earlier today to consider reconstituting the first presidency. This revelatory experience
I'm
again.
sorry. Revelatory? Is it not a
Revelatory.
revelatory experience? It was
Very relevant.
relevant to
Good
what
catch.
we're
Revelation.
talking about today. Gary
catch.
E. Stevenson, what a guy. I'm so sorry that he was
Just talking
burdened with this
gibberish.
responsibility because it obviously was a lot for him.
Confirm to each of us in the Quorum of the 12 Apostles that Jesus Christ directs his church.
After
Directs
an
his
extended
church.
process of fasting and prayer, I have been inspired by the Lord to call President
reading?
Henry B. Eyring as first counselor
Look at how
and
shocked
President
Henry
D.
is.
Todd Christofferson as
Look at his
second
face. He's
counselor
shocked.
Dead.
in the first presidency. We also announced that President Jeffrey R. Holland is the president of the Quorum
Look at
of
how
the 12
shocked Henry
Apostles.
is.
I'm grateful that each of these men,
He
whom
remains
I
shocked
admire and know so
throughout the
well,
process.
have accepted these sacred callings.
I
Yeah,
can
he didn't see it coming.
express the gratitude that I feel for the trust from the Lord,
He's gonna cry.
and the trust that President Oaks has shown to me.
I am deeply honored by this calling and the trust that it carries.
Lots of trust.
At the same
Isn't that
time, I
crying?
recognize that I'm not called to be honored, but called to serve. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve at the side of President Dallin H. Oaks.
We've watched him be prepared and have had the confirmation that that is the Lord's will this day. And that has been a unanimous and a very, very moving experience to see that mantle come fully and completely on President Oaks. We stand ready to serve him.
I accept with humility the responsibility that God has placed upon me and commit my whole heart and soul to the service to which I've been called. We pray for all, we seek to serve all, and we invoke the blessings of the Lord Jesus Christ upon all who seek to serve him.
That was a
Okay,
condensed
I just
version.
want to say that yes, this was definitely a condensed version, and
Yeah,
I'm
edited.
looking to pull up the actual version right now where
It's John
Stevenson
DeLynn.
got the name wrong.
So
Yeah.
who is going to fulfill the empty seat in the 12? And when will they call him? Now, during when Oaks and Eyring were called, there was like a 8 or 10 weeks.
Did you hear Dallin say that he was ready to commit his heart and soul? Was that HARDENED? His heart and soul.
Wait, so
Megan, it's on.
two
It's on
things.
John's channel. If you are
looking
for it.
at Eyring, I expected a drooling to come out of his mouth.
Oh, just tears, Tim. He cries, doesn't drool.
No.
Fluids are all tears.
I got two things on this. First
not,
of all,
not
how's
Dallas,
the audio?
not Dallas, but Eyring.
Well, he cries. That's what I'm saying. He only cries.
No. Looked like he was going to dribble or drool out of his mouth any minute there. That's what it looked like to me. I was like, oh man.
Look, and we're experiencing lavender Jesus.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Go
ahead, Dave.
You could use a little more volume, Dave.
Okay, well, I switched. So first of all, how's the audio now?
It's good.
I'm using
Good.
It's
It's good.
Cool, because I used my webcam. Second of all, that was the most boring advertisement for Centrum Silver I have ever watched in my life.
Or Blue Chew.
I mean, one of the two, yeah. One of the two. I'm going to get closer to
so the new guy skipped a whole bunch of people, right? Because obviously he skipped Holland, and so as far as seniority, he skipped Holland. He was after Uchtdorf, right? So like he skipped a whole bunch of people.
No. It goes,
didn't he?
Oaks, Eyring, Holland.
And then whatever his name is, Rendland, whatever the new guy's name is.
When you say skipped, you mean in order to get Christensen in there?
Yeah, like he's not the most senior. Like he's skipped people that were there longer.
Yeah, he's in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, so he skipped a bunch of people. It's interesting.
Well, you don't want somebody who's 90 in there.
That's true. They need one young guy to kind of run things. Do that a lot.
Oh, who isn't 90 in there?
Bednar.
The new guy?
A few of them.
Yeah, isn't he like 83? Like, yeah.
He's a young buck.
Gotta get those young folks with 80-year-olds.
He's young for them, yeah.
Okay. This is interesting. It's Holland, Uchtdorf, Bednar, Cook, Christofferson was fifth.
Skipped a bunch.
Yeah, Christofferson was fifth, and Anderson, Rasband, Stevenson, Renland, Gong, Soares, and Kieran. So,
well,
interesting.
How
I
about
guess
them
being a
apples?
billionaire doesn't prevent you from making verbal faux pas.
Was that guy the billionaire? The guy who made all those mistakes?
I'm pretty sure.
Huh. Too busy counting his money. Can't read.
so now there's
You never count your money when you're sitting at the table.
Is
There'll be
Stevenson the
time
billionaire?
enough to count it when the dealing's done.
I think Stevenson's the billionaire. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't keep track of these. I don't care anymore.
You're an accountant, Tim. You should know how much money each of them have.
I'm not an accountant.
Right.
You're not an accountant?
I have a degree in accounting. I should know this. I should figure it out.
Oh, well, Dave.
Megan, did you find it?
Well, it's interesting that they haven't changed it on their page yet.
I'm still looking. I cannot find the unedited version. I think they scrubbed it, and I should have screenshotted it.
I had it queued up. Let me see if I can find it.
Here's the 13-minute. This is the 13-minute.
I am Elder
video.
Gary E. Stevenson of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day
Somebody
Saints.
screen record this while we're playing it, because they'll
conduct
take it down.
this afternoon's announcement.
You
We
stumbled
welcome
again.
you from the Conference Center in Salt Lake City, Utah, on this memorable occasion of the presentation of a new First Presidency. With the passing of our beloved prophet, Russell M. Nelson, on September 27th, 2025, the First Presidency was dissolved. The men previously serving as counselors assumed their places in the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. and that quorum assumed leadership of the church, with the senior apostle at its head. Members of the Quorum of the 12 met earlier today to consider reconstituting the first presidency. This revelatory experience again confirmed to each of us in the Quorum of the 12 Apostles that Jesus Christ directs his church. We are honored now to announce that President Dallas Harris Oates was set apart as the 18th president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints this morning.
Back that up. Back
It
that
almost
up.
sounded like you said
Oates will now address
Dallas
us.
Harris hoax.
Yeah, that's his
Well,
name now. It's
back that up.
official. That's his legal name. It's
Wait.
set in stone.
Let's listen to this again.
As the 18th president of the Church of, we are honored now to announce that President Dallas Harris Oates was set apart as the 18th president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints this morning. President Oates will now address us.
All right. Can I say something? Pause this for a second. Because, all right. On the one hand, all right, I can kind of see, I can kind of go with the argument that he misspoke as an outsider because Dallas is a more common name than Dalit. Fine. On the other hand, you are literally paid to know who your boss is. Like, I mean, this isn't like someone like me who joined the church in 2020 and left 3 years later and like misspoke or like, oh, his name is Dallin and not Dallas. No, this is someone who's actually paid by the church who knows these people personally.
Yeah.
How do you screw this up?
Like
if I screwed up, like I used to work at Wells Fargo, if I screwed up the name of my boss or the boss's boss, I would get destroyed. So I don't know how this happened.
No, I mean, this is the equivalent of like you are working for the most wealthy corporation in the entire United States, which it arguably is, and you are tasked with announcing the new president of the corporation, and you call him Elon Musk.
I was thinking the same thing. Call him Zelon.
You call him Elon Musk. Or you call him Elon Musk.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't like this isn't a case where you can even do mental gymnastics. It's just a total fuck up all the way around.
Yeah, I was getting the Harris.
Please, I hope somebody screen recorded this.
They took Stevenson's picture out of the Wikipedia page for the 12 Apostles.
What does that matter? He's not in the 12 anymore?
No, his picture's gone on the Wikipedia page.
He got upgraded?
Yeah, I resonate with Jules. I resonate with Jules because like working at Wells Fargo in corporate nonetheless in Salt Lake City by the airport, if you screw up your boss's name, like that is an unofficially career-ending move right there.
Elton Musk, everyone.
What?
Elton Musk. You're gonna come down.
Rocket Man. It fits.
I'm going to be honest. If Elon Musk's first name was Elton, I think that would be kind of cool. Not going to lie. Like,
yeah, it'd be real
clearly
name.
named after Elton John, launches dildos into space. Like, you know what? Go for it.
And seniority, it's Oakes, Holland, Eyring, Uchtdorf, Bednar. Yeah.
Man, no one likes Holland.
Here's a $1 million question, because I brought this up with you, Tim, in the after show that nobody else saw, is that with all of these people over the age of 80 in power, what is the church going to do if they, just all pass on within like the same year? Because it's possible, right? The life expectancy is like possible. 75 to 79. So like, what is a church going to do if like, over half of those in power just kind of go?
They're going to invest in Ensure and Depends.
And surely it
if they
depends.
if they watched Handmaid's Tale, they would know that they could poison them all in one fell swoop and get
Yeah,
rid
I'm
of them
saying
all.
that'd be a good movie.
That's what
guy
I'm saying.
killing
They would
Trump.
encourage everyone to invest in Ensure. They would poison the Ensure with something, and everyone would get wiped out. There you go. We're done.
Well,
They
sure
would
you're
serve it
dependable?
as sacrament.
you all are making fun of this man who mispronounced his name. Shame on you, because he's speaking on behalf of God the Father.
He's
Is
a
he speaking for
billionaire.
the Lord?
Yeah, well, I'm
Or is he
speaking
speaking
on behalf of the beer that I'm drinking, so.
I think that Gary E. Stevenson in this moment was speaking as a man because he made a mistake. And obviously, if he was speaking for the Lord, he would not make a mistake. So he was just speaking as a man when he said Dallas Harris Oaks, and we should not pay any attention to everything else he said.
See, I
Don't
think God wants him to
criticize
change
him,
his name.
even if it's true.
I think
Well,
God wants him to change his name.
if he's speaking as a man, does that mean he's not a prophet? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, exactly. If he's
It goes
speaking
back and
as a
forth.
man, then it's not prophetic, it's not divinely inspired, and he's allowed to make mistakes if he's speaking as a man.
But they did say that if it comes out of an apostle's mouth, you can consider it to be scripture.
But what
So
if
I think we should call him
that came out
Dallas.
of an apostle's mouth? So
What if there's some dude out there named Dallas Harris Oaks that is just like, oh cool, I'm a prophet of the Mormons now. Like,
There's got to be. It's got to be.
Hi, Deb.
Hey, Debbie.
And a very happy birthday to Megan
by the
Connor.
way,
She wasn't here last
thanks.
week.
Yeah.
So happy birthday, Megan. We
Thanks.
we had a cake last week and lit the candles, and you didn't show up to blow them out.
Well, I'm glad that you had a cake in my honor. That's what I want, is for everyone to eat cake.
Symbolic cake.
And I totally won't get beheaded for that. But I was traveling last week, and so I appreciate you guys giving me leave to not be here. Just want to say, go ahead. Sorry, Randy.
We got the decorations and the cake from our entertainment sponsor, Mike Hunt.
Oh, that was
Mike
so nice
Hunt?
of Mike. Mike is really generous. He donates to a lot of different causes. I appreciate Mike Hunt.
I don't know who this Mike is, but I also accept donations, just saying.
Oh, there we go. By the way, guys, did you know that Gary E. Stevenson, who just was speaking erroneously about relevation and Dallas hoax, did you know that he's on track to become a billionaire due to his large stake in the fitness equipment company iFit Health and Fitness? That's right. Reports from 2021 indicated that his shares accumulated through his prior business career had a potential to make him a billionaire after the company's planned initial IPO. It's not publicly confirmed because, of course, it's very secret. Not sacred, but secret. He reached that financial milestone of becoming a billionaire, and he is, again, a member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And, in Jesus's day, Jesus asked the apostles to not give any thought for what they wore and to not even bring scrip or purse with them, but to just come and follow him. But not this apostle. He was the co-founder of an early predecessor to iFit Health and Fitness, and he later served as its president and CEO. So he definitely is on track to become a billionaire, according to documents filed in connection with iFit's planned IPO, revealed that he had a significant number of shares with a potential value that could exceed $1 billion.
I am
what
not
you did, Megan,
surprised.
is you took this man who was just a regular man selling some equipment, and then you read us his bio, and you took him to a whole nother level.
That's right, Randy.
Just a businessman. He's
His
just
wealth
a
is on a whole
billionaire level.
Another level.
I will say it makes sense that he keeps that on the down low. Not only is it bad for marketing, but I mean, I feel like if any of us were on track to be billionaires, I don't think that would be something we would publicly broadcast.
I broadcast
Well,
it
probably
everywhere.
not.
I tell
Especially
everyone.
if we were, apostles for a church that purports to, report to Jesus Christ, who probably would be physically ill if he knew how much money the church had at this point.
And
Well,
had the second
Jesus,
anointing, so you don't really have to pay tithing on it and just say
Yeah.
nanny,
yeah.
nanny, bishop.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus famously whipped people because put money in the temple. I think we should just have a public whipping of him, where he just gets like 50
That's a great
lashes.
idea. Yeah,
That'll even it out.
stripes, and then he'll be good to go.
Yeah,
That's
Jesus
what
will be
the
cool then.
Bible.
Just whip him for a
Yeah.
while.
Kinder Kim wants to know, what about the law of constipation?
That's the law that
Depends.
says
That
that
depends.
no matter how much money you have, if you
Depends.
don't eat right, you're still going to get constipated. That's what that law says.
Well, that's freaking hilarious.
Just going to
Yeah.
put
I'll
that there.
bet you.
Should we
I'll
watch
bet
the
you
rest
he
of this
sold.
horrible video
Yes,
or no?
let's watch the rest of this.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's watch some more and see if there's other pauses that show how old they are.
Yay, we see a movie.
Thank you, Elder Stevenson. I am pleased to announce that we have a new First Presidency. After an extended process of fasting and prayer, I have been inspired by the Lord to call President Henry B. Eyring as first counselor
Curveball.
and President D. Todd Christofferson as second counselor in the first
That
presidency.
actually kind of was surprising.
At this time,
Yeah,
we
that
also
was-
announced that President Jeffrey R. Holland,
You're still
under a
alive.
newly conferred title, is the president of the Quorum of the 12
What?
Apostles.
What
Crazy.
an honor.
I'm
He's
grateful
old.
that
Consolation
each of
prize.
Again,
Yeah.
please, please, please look at how shocked Henry B. Eyring is.
Wow.
Like, I made it? What? What did you guys tell me?
I just
He's
got to
not
say this as the,
capable of closing his mouth.
as the outsider. I don't know what any of this means, right? Because I know people have been born in the church and raised in the church. I see like Megan and Trevor be like, wow, that's nobody, that's surprising. Everybody outside of the church or like new converts who just joined, they're going to be like, okay,
Well, Henry
Just
B.
like-
Eyring has been in the first presidency for like 20 years.
Yeah, he's not surprising.
So it's not a surprise.
Everyone likes
Also-
crying.
Is it just me, or does Henry B. Crying look like he's butter scraped over too much bread?
Oh yeah, I think all of them do. It's just interesting the like politics of like who likes each other and who doesn't like each other. Like
Yeah.
obviously no one likes Holland. Only Munson liked Uchtdorf. Like it's interesting to see the dynamics of like friendships.
They all hate each other.
Yes, they
Yeah.
do. That is true.
Yeah, the
once you
dude
know-
on the far left, is that Holland?
Is easy.
Yes,
Yes,
on the
that's
far
Holland.
left, that's Holland.
Yeah.
He
And
does
he's-
not look happy at all.
He is quite a hateful man.
Oh,
He reminds me of the
yeah.
Goblin King
For
from
the
The
last
Hobbit.
like 10 years.
He sure is a handsome fella.
Yeah, it must know he's funny.
He's single. He's single, Megan.
And
Nobody-
Oh, Megan.
Yeah.
He's got
wants to
money.
become his second wife.
But
No,
I
they
mean,
They
like-
get on Temple
no,
Square.
think about this though: is that Oakes and Oakes and Nelson actually bothered to get married again. Holland has been single for 5
Only a
or
couple
6
years.
years now.
I don't think
Well,
it's
Sure.
can you
hard.
imagine anybody taking on that task? I mean, can you imagine
Well,
anyone?
he's on dialysis.
Wendy's
And-
available now. You can get Wendy.
He-
Right?
No, Wendy. He could get Sherry Dew.
Right. That's right.
No, you can get
Wendy, Sherry
Wendy's. She
Dew.
could just get divorced from Rusty. Just divorce
No,
Rusty.
no,
I mean,
Wendy is Nelson's forever. Remember that.
That could be avoided. You can
I
avoid
mean,
that. For
with the
Yeah,
way
she could-
American
He
culture,
could get a temple annulment. Divorce. What do you call
with
it?
the way
Temple
Have her
divorce.
sealing canceled.
I just got to say, with the way that
Yeah.
American culture is, if there are any ladies who are between the ages of 18 to 24 and you want an amazing life insurance payout, there you go.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Well, I was a
There you
lady.
go.
That's
I
what I
ain't
do.
saying she's a
You've
gold digger.
got like maybe
But she
2
ain't
to
messing with a
3
broke.
years, and
Yeah,
then
go
it's
on,
all
Megan.
yours.
Finish that. I dare you.
What was she say?
I said I ain't
missed
saying
it.
she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with a broke.
Broke what?
Oh, that song.
So the only problem with Holland is if he is under a bridge and goats try to cross that bridge, they're finna get eaten.
Ooh, tough luck.
I'm sorry. The
Tough luck,
only
goats.
problem. That's the only problem.
That's it. Otherwise,
That's a pretty big
he's
problem.
perfect.
Did you guys ever see? I'm going to have to look this up now. Did you guys ever see the cartoon version of The Hobbit back in the
Yeah.
80s?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, 70s or whatever.
That's who Holland reminds me of.
Yeah, he's got jowls for days. Is that the dog from the Looney Tunes? That dog? I can't remember his name. The dog with the jowls. Little,
Oh,
like,
there
tiny
he is.
dog.
There's Holland.
Yeah, the Troll King.
See, that's a goat skull beside him.
He doesn't got the
That's right.
jowl lines. He's got more of a ball sack.
He's got a nice set of boobies, though.
Meatloaf had a nice pair as well.
Meatloaf?
Heard.
The man?
Meatloaf, yeah.
Yeah, he had some
He
knockers.
worked out.
The Great Goblin.
Should we play the rest of the video?
Let's play a little bit more.
I
Yeah,
thought the
because
topic
These
was
men
church
whom I
security.
admire
but-
and know so well
Yeah.
Well,
have
we'll get back
accepted
to
these
that.
sacred callings. We will now hear from President D. Todd Christofferson, followed by
you got it
President
right.
Henry B. Eyring. We will then hear from President Jeffrey R. Holland, President of the Quorum of the 12.
Surprise.
I will then share a concluding testimony with you, and the meeting will be adjourned.
He's probably
He should
giving
dye his
Stevens
whole
the evil
head.
eye right there, saying, "See, I could name their names."
He
Yeah,
should
he's
dye his
surprised
head
he got it
for
right.
Easter.
I think he was pleased that he got it right. Whoa, I was right. Jeffrey R.
I
Holland.
confess that this is not what I expected when I woke up this morning,
I thought you were a prophet.
but I am deeply honored by this calling and the trust that
Kiki
it
D. Todd Christofferson.
carries. At the same time, I recognize that I'm not called to be honored, but called to serve. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve at the side of President Dallin H. Oaks and Henry B. Eyring.
Dallas.
I recall many years ago slipping into a meeting in Washington, D.C., where I was not invited, but I wanted to hear Dallin H. Oaks, who was speaking. He made a lot of sense then, as he always does and has and does now. And I was most impressed
money.
with his many qualities, his intellect, but most of all, his spiritual depth. And I bear witness, as one who's been part of the process, that he is called of God in this current position, this weighty responsibility. And my prayers, my wife's prayers, are with yours for him and his success and the Lord's constant blessings upon him. It is Jesus Christ who is the head of the church. I know that. I bear witness of it. I'm more sure of it every day.
Well,
I know him. I honor him. I pledge my life and discipleship to him in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
You don't know him.
He
Look at
slipped
the
into a
camera way too
DM.
much.
I am
down
I-
deeply surprised.
I don't like the way he looks at me.
I believe he's surprised.
Christofferson,
I'm still alive.
wonderful opportunity to serve in the first presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
He was going to say Mormon
I
church.
love him, and I've always felt that he was urging me to be better, and that I was never quite doing it. And so the feeling of being asked, I believe under inspiration, to come and serve again in the first presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was, I cannot express the gratitude that I feel for the trust from the Lord, and the trust that President Oaks has shown to me. I love him and know him and can testify that I know that he is the head of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints by inspiration. I have seen the power of God come upon him, and it's been a reassuring thing to me to know that just as in the days of old, when Peter and others would lead the church, that the people would be able to recognize that that was the Lord's servant to lead his church. I've had that blessing, that I've had that assurance come to me, and I'm so grateful for that, and grateful for the trust, and grateful for the people whose faith I know will sustain us in this great work of the restoration and the final preparation of the Lord's church for his coming. I bear you my testimony that preparation is occurring, and that President Oaks is the perfect one to do the things that I know the Lord will want done. I am grateful to be at his side. I testify Jesus is the Christ. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
The Church of Jesus Christ. This is a fucking long name
thrilled
for a church.
to speak
Oh
for
my
the
God, they're
Quorum of the
reptilians.
12,
Turn it off.
for the 7 presidents of the 70, the presiding bishopric, organizational heads, all of whom support
Are you
and
getting angry?
sustain unequivocally President
angry?
Dallin Oaks as the president, prophet, seer, and revelator leading
pissed off.
this church for its next moment in time. We love him. We have known him. We've watched him be prepared and have had the confirmation that that is the Lord's will this day. And that has been a unanimous and a very, very moving experience to see that mantle come fully and completely on President Oaks. We stand
They're just
ready
waiting for the
to
grandfather
serve
clock
him
to fall on
out to
him.
the newest convert
man.
and
He
the,
looks mad.
and the most recently called missionary.
He looks pissed off.
I know beyond anything else I know that this is God's church. This is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The Father and the Son and the gifts of the Holy Ghost will come upon President Oaks in full measure. And I know that that line of gift and promise is true, and that has been reaffirmed as well today. And I love the work that we're in, bear testimony of it, and say that in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I'm glad they
My dear
specify
brothers and sisters,
Turn it off.
which
in this
church.
small announcement meeting and throughout the world, I know beyond any certainty in my life that this is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, restored with the fullness of the gospel that
Restored.
God has chosen to reveal in this dispensation of the fullness of time, and led by prophets to the present day. I accept with humility the responsibility that God has placed upon me and commit my whole heart and soul
Turn this up to 4x.
to the service
this
to
up.
which I've been called.
Come
I'm
on,
grateful to
Dallin.
President Eyring and to
Get to the
President
point.
Christofferson for accepting their responsibilities. And I'm
There we
grateful to the
go.
Quorum of the 12, whom I esteem and love also as
Yeah,
apostles
it's
of the
like
Lord
normal
Jesus
talk.
Christ, for their commitment
Lover.
to follow the Lord's will through his duly appointed servants. I testify that the Lord speaks to the apostles of his church and through the apostles of his church, according to the
normal now.
organization that has been revealed to serve us in these latter days. I am grateful for the prayers offered by so many members of the church for a new first presidency. I have felt the effect of those prayers, and with my counselors, we will strive in all respects to press forward this great work. Most recently, we've been led by a magnificent prophet of the Lord, President Russell M. Nelson. We have much work to do to fulfill the challenges he has given us, and there is more yet to come, of which I testify in all humility. The Lord still speaks through his servants. There is much to be done, for our ministry is a ministry of all the children of God on the face of the earth. We pray for all, we seek to serve all, and we invoke the blessings of the Lord Jesus Christ upon all who seek to serve him, to do so in worthiness and commitment and optimism. We do not have the answers to all of the world's problems. They've not been revealed. But what we do know is that we are all children of heavenly parents, and that we are called to serve all of the children of God in this wonderful restored church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Except those
I testify of
children
the
we
Lord Jesus
exclude.
Christ, who is the head of this church, and invoke his blessings upon all of us as we seek to serve him. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Well, it says normal at 2x.
Meine Güte.
So let me get this straight. He actually knows that this is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints?
Knows.
That's profound.
He knows as
Because
much as
at
he
one
knows.
time it was the Church of Jesus Christ, or was the Church of Christ, and then it became the Church of
was the
Latter-day
Church
Saints.
of the Latter-day
and then
Saints.
It became,
Like
it
he's
became-
speaking to the Lutherans or something? Of course it's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Who else would
I'm
even
sorry,
watch
but
this? Who?
I'm a
Yeah,
little
no, I
jaded.
agree with Randy. Like, who else would even watch this?
Well, that's true. They got to try to act like they're bigger
It's
than
got
they are.
900,000 views.
Is it?
Wow.
I guess it's
I
pretty
mean,
big news.
yeah, but how much of that is like some of them are going to be from like people like us who were members of the church and left.
Well,
And
every
then
member is
there's
going to
gonna
watch
be
it.
every member's going to watch it, so that's
That's
a
not very
huge
many.
that's the overwhelming majority, and then maybe the other like 1 or 2% are people who like are never Mo's, right? They've never
Yeah.
been Mormon, but they just find it fascinating. Like nobody
It's
else is
news.
going to watch this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, to steer back a little bit to church security, I was chatting with Tim today, and there have been 4 churches
Chapels.
burn.
Now,
4
I
chapels
wonder,
burn.
I wonder if the one in New Zealand and Caledonia are electrical problems or actually arsonists. We know
Yeah,
the
I
one in
wonder. There's
Australia
coincidence.
definitely was electrical fire.
But do
We know
we?
about, that's the official word that I found in the news. Let me see. Let me double check.
It's just weird that in the space of a month, 4 chapels have burned down.
I mean, how many chapels are there? Like thousands?
Yeah,
A
I mean,
gazillion.
I could see
Probably about
out of
12 to
about
15,000.
yeah, I was gonna say
That's
out of
wild.
12 to 15,000, I can see one of them having an electrical fire. That makes sense to me. The
Yeah.
other ones,
You know.
especially like when you're talking about like New Zealand, where if you've been following their politics,
Excuse me. It's
Yeah.
still under investigation in
Mm.
Australia.
Okay, gotcha,
Ah,
gotcha.
so
I mean, like,
there is a chance.
I mean, there is a chance. It's probably a small one in my opinion. But like with New Zealand, like if you've seen like anything coming out of New Zealand lately, a lot of indigenous people who've been elected have been like like doing protests and like traditional Maori dances, because New Zealand has yet like the white New Zealand government has like crushed their culture. So I can totally see people in New Zealand like seeing this as colonization, which it is, and just retaliating against the church in that way.
Same with
I'm surprised it
Australia.
hasn't happened in India, honestly, because
Plus, a lot of church buildings are built, Nepo babies, right? So they're
Yeah.
not going to have the highest quality construction always.
That's true. That's true.
Well, they were built by
Chico.
what do they call them? Building missionaries.
service
Nepo
missionaries.
babies.
Thank you, service missionary. What are
Yeah.
you doing down there, guys?
I'm having fun.
Not you, my cats.
I'm kidding.
Uh, you'll get some when it's time, Flower. Just stop that right now.
What does that mean? You'll get some.
No, he'll get treats, but
Oh,
he
okay.
just knocked down the treat bin. You'll get treats
Mm.
when you get treats. You know that. He's looking at me.
But yeah, I mean, like, I'm surprised this hasn't happened in India or other countries. That it's happened, even
Yeah.
like with the attack on Michigan, like that kind of surprised me, because
Yeah.
like
Same.
countries like India, like you could watch a YouTube video where someone is accused of
Oh, they're
trying to
crazy.
convert someone to
Well-
Christianity. Exactly, there'll be 10,000 people, and
Yeah.
the military will have to get called out to like
Oh,
keep
yeah.
order.
They go
Okay.
crazy.
So
I've
Mob
been
justice,
keeping
yeah.
track. I've been keeping track of mass shootings, and
On a
it's really
bulletin board, a bunch of red yarn and
no.
calculating the meaning behind all of them.
But I guess it's on the other one. Since
Sadly, it's
since
like any place that
I've
people
been keeping
gather.
track since Charlie Kirk's assassination. It's been like 20 or something. And the one in Michigan, yes, it's surprising, but it's typical. Unfortunately, America is awash in guns, and every other day we have a mass shooting in America. Okay.
Yeah.
well,
Um,
the interesting thing is, I think a lot of it doesn't, and this is where I tend to lean with conservatives on this, is that it's not so much the access to guns, but it's the culture in America. Because in Mongolia,
exactly.
Sure.
because in Mongolia, people have guns. And here in Mongolia, I can, on an F1 visa, go and buy a fully automatic AK-47 or AK-203, as long as it's registered as a part of a collection. You can't buy fully automatic weapons in most states in America. Here, I could just go and buy one and get 10,000 rounds of ammunition. No one gives a shit. But
Yeah.
because the culture here is based around saving face and around, personal, just personal integrity. Like here in Mongolia, even one of the cultural things is if you step on a stranger's shoe, you immediately shake their hand to show there's no animosity. Right?
Okay. Let's
So-
just cut to the chase. A gun to an American is an ersatz penis. Period. And a discussion.
Yeah,
What
no,
now?
and that's the thing. That's the difference, and I agree
Okay.
with you because
And-
in America, yeah, guns are power, but in Mongolia, if you carry a weapon, people assume you're there to cause harm. It's completely different.
Yeah.
See,
But
67 people have been killed and 254 wounded since September 10th. That is shocking to me.
well, I think part of it is in America you're raised where you can be anything. You can be anything. But then when you wind up a loser and you're a loser, I mean, you can't take that as well. And so you want to take that power and, be something. Where I think
Right.
that kind of dynamic comes in, where it's like, I could be anything and I'm a loser. Like, what? Like, I think that, where other societies, you kind of have a place where you're in your
Right.
niche and it's not, you don't feel like a loser if you're in your niche.
They take it out on society for
Yeah,
being that loser.
Exactly.
Yeah, 'cause they're
Exactly.
a loser, so they want to be a winner. They're going to kill a bunch of people to be a winner.
Yeah.
Well, it's like infamy because Trevor's right. It's like you're a loser. You might as well be infamous. I mean, look at Richard Ramirez,
Exactly.
Yeah, a
the
lot of
serial
people-
killer. He was a complete loser and he did all kinds of crimes. But because he
Yeah.
was so infamous, he had women trying to sleep with him in his,
Yeah,
so that's how he
famous,
went about it. But like, and I think part of it too is like, mass shootings are like glorified because you look at like any mass shooting and there's immediately pictures of the mass shooter and his whole
Yeah.
history and things like
They're doing
that.
it less
In
now.
in Mongolia, if you commit a crime, you're gone. People don't
Yeah.
report on it. Like
There's no freedom of speech.
people will report on the crimes, but they don't show the criminal. They don't show what they did, you know, too much. They'll talk about what happened vaguely, but they give nothing about the criminal, nothing about his background, nothing about his accomplishments, nothing about his family. It's just here in Mongolia, we picked up a murderer. The end.
Wait, Dave, are you saying that all I have to do is become a serial killer and women will want to sleep with me?
Yes.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
it, Randy.
that's
small.
It's
I
almost
mean,
worth it, right, Randy?
well,
Now
you
you
look
tell
at
me. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's Tim Bundy, where one of the women who wanted to sleep with him was so devoted that like she married him in a freaking courthouse
Well,
before
look at
he was
Alex
executed.
Cox.
He was
Alex Cox.
LDS, by the way.
Alex Cox got Zulema all over him. I mean, it worked out.
Okay, there's been 337 mass shootings this year alone. 13 mass murders.
Oh my gosh.
I would
182
say
children killed, 389 injured, 812 teenagers killed, 2,251 injured. I mean, these numbers are just appalling.
I mean, there's a comment I want to respond to, and that's Bobicus Rex, if I said that correctly. If
I
not,
can never
I
see the
apologize.
comments.
But U.S. culture, in my opinion, has not changed because I grew up in 2007, and even like so, I went from high school in Richfield High School from 2003 to 2007, and even then, Columbine shooting, like the Columbine mass shooting, was a meme, right? Like in Richfield High School, there was a pellet gun, not an actual gun, but a pellet gun shooting outside the school. I think it was in 2006, and I was there for that. In 2003 and 2000, it was either 5 or 2007. But like I was in that school when they locked it down and they raided it, and they found loaded guns by people by students because of a tip off.
And
I don't think it's changed. I think just because of the age of the internet, you hear about it more.
Yeah, that's a big factor.
Because I can name 3 other schools in Minnesota at that time. Tartan High School was one of them. I used to hang out with friends in Tartan, and they found loaded handguns and an assault rifle in 2006, I think it was.
When I was in high school, we had one cop car and 200 other cops in my high school, and we had a shooting. We had a bunch of guys from a gang line up in the hallway, and this was not during changing classes it was during class time, and they lined up against the width of the hallway, and anybody that was there they beat up, and they had guns, and there was a gunfight right outside the second floor of the building, Hamilton High School. Was a gunshot. Was shooting. My math teacher said, "Drop." We all hit the floor, and we walk out after class, and there's bullet holes in the window and bullet holes in the wall. Never made the news.
Yeah, it's a big factor. We hear about everything now.
Yeah, we hear about everything now because it's on our phones. But I mean, like in 2000, back in the early 2000s when cell phones didn't even exist, nobody knows about this. They only heard about the only reason why people you can find anything about the pellet gun going off near the school was because that was a big deal, and that obviously made the news. But the reality is loaded handguns in America get. And it's like the same thing like back in England too, because stabbings are huge in schools. It's not guns, but it's knives.
Yeah.
Right. You hear about all the stabbings now, but if you go back into the 90s when I was there living with my dad, like in primary school, even kids had knives.
So this all begs
nobody heard about it.
This all begs the question: what is the church going to do to prevent this occurrence?
Well, they want an 89-year-old woman. What was it? A 63-year-old woman to go out and watch the parking lot?
Yeah.
Rebecca did
Yeah,
today.
she's the first one that's gonna go. Like,
It's like, are you
She'll be
kidding
the
me?
canary in the coal mine.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of like what my old war did, because I went to the Eighth Oak Hills ward in Provo. And like there was a couple times where like someone would be stalked or a woman would have like issues with a guy and they clamped down on it hard. And after that happened for like a week or two, there would be a couple cop cars just chilling there and the guys like, actual cops standing outside. Right. I think it would be good if the church went the route of something along the lines like that, because like Protestant non-denominational churches, Grace Church of Eden Prairie, that was a church that I went to in high school, and they have like 10 cops. Some are off duty, some are on duty. They have their own medical team. There's like 10 cops at any given time at that mega church, and they just hang out inside of the building. Right. I think that's a pretty decent deterrent.
Yeah.
Because the concept of a soft target. I've done questionable things back in my days when I used to be an addict, right? And you're not gonna go after a target where police are hanging outside. You're just not.
That's true. They go for a soft target.
Yeah, people go for soft targets. They go for easy prey. That's just the reality of it.
Well, the church could afford to purchase cop cars and park them in each parking lot just as a deterrent.
Well,
even if there's no one inside, people don't know that.
Well, there's that. And I mean, like at my ward too, like I could think of like 4 or 5 like combat veterans, right? Who left the military, honorably discharged, they're retired, good standing. They got all their qualities done. They still have certifications for grade 3 Kevlar, just you name it. Like, it kind of surprises me that the church, which is very pro-military, isn't like saying, okay, you were in the military, let me see your qualifications, let me see credentials, let me see all your certifications. They're still valid. Okay, yeah, you stand guard.
Yeah.
My state president who ex me was the police chief of the Victorville Police Department. He was always armed. Yeah, the last state president, Glenn L. Pratt. Okay, he was police chief of the Victorville Police Department. It's like,
well, they should.
Yeah.
They should let that be known, even if it's a plaque somewhere at the entrance. Armed security on duty. Of course, that'll never happen, because, like Lavender said, if the church admits, or if they utilize a form of security, they will be admitting to the fact that God is not protecting them.
Yeah.
Well, you could just flip that though. You could just flip that though, because the combat veterans I talked to said everyone will be judged by God. It's our duty to make the introduction. That was I mean, they were Army, they were Marines, and I feel like, and this would save the church money too, because you don't have to pay them. They would naturally volunteer. So it saves the church money. You have armed combat veterans. And in Michigan, the moment armed combat veterans see and hear a vehicle come through a building, well, they've seen that in Iraq. They know what to do. And it'll be over in less than 10 seconds.
Well, I think the reason they don't do that is the liability. Like if one of those guys shot someone, church is going to get sued into tomorrow, and they don't want that.
If they don't shoot someone, they are too.
Well, I mean,
it'd be harder to do that.
Well, it's actually from a lawsuit perspective, it's actually, if you shoot like a mass shooter and kill them in self-defense, first of all, the mass shooter can't sue you because they're dead. But second of all, you have a cut and dry case of not only self-defense but defense of others.
No, I mean, if you shoot someone when it's not a mass shooter, you think it's a mass shooter, but you're just wrong, and you just shoot some random person.
Well, exactly.
That's hard
but that's where the church, and the church doesn't even do this with, background checks for bishops, but
Yeah.
if they were to, and if it were to be specifically combat veterans, like combat veterans aren't random people with guns. Random people with guns would cause those situations that you're talking about. But our, trained combat veterans who have years of experience, like they can tell the difference between like a car crash or someone being belligerent and an actual
Wasn't the
combat
shooter a
situation.
combat veteran though? The guy who shot up Michigan, he was a combat veteran.
Yes, he
Yep,
was.
So I
and that's why
mean,
you would need combat veterans, because
but you can get a
some
crazy one.
grandma, but some grandma, watching a parking lot, or even
You,
some good guy with a gun is not going to slow down that combat veteran. You would need combat veterans to take out that combat veteran.
I'm just saying the churches want to take that liability. Like they won't even let you have candles in the church because they don't want the liability. They don't want people
Really,
Yeah,
like,
but
our ward did. Our ward did.
if a
well, let's say
if a
that.
copycat crime happens, because it's happened once now, the Michigan situation, it's happened. So now, if it happens again, the church is liable, because people are going to say,
Somewhat.
"Wait a minute, it's happened before. Why haven't you taken precautions to keep it from happening again?" And that, in and of itself, creates a liability for the church.
But far less, I think, far less.
Yeah. And I mean, Lavender brings up a good point. I mean, not everyone would want to be in the position. I think it would sound like it would be a volunteer basis.
you want
Yeah, you
somebody
are a
who
girl.
has,
Yeah, okay, you're a girl. Yeah, the church probably wouldn't do that
you
anyway.
want somebody who has fired a weapon once and knows their way around so that they're not jumpy. You want somebody who's level-headed, who's fired a weapon before, maybe even killed somebody before in the line of duty or whatever, and so that they're level-headed and they can assess the threat quickly. You don't want
Yeah,
some young kid who's only shot targets
Yeah,
and
ideally.
exactly. Well, I mean, I've done armed security in the past, so even having like someone like myself, because I mean, I haven't seen combat, but like I've seen a lot of messed up stuff living in other countries, and I've seen riots in Minneapolis, and I've done armed security in North Side Minneapolis, where there's a lot of gang violence, right? And so like you would want someone like that, or someone like kind of with my experience, um, just because. I mean, even like setting aside my past drug addiction and homeless, just like when you get that experience, you can ascertain very quickly whether or not someone is going to be a threat, or if someone is just, you know, tweaking out. Like you can tell very, very quickly if you have any of that experience, whether it's kind of on the extreme end with the combat veteran, or security experience, or, whatever the case may be. As long as there's some type of demonstrable experience with weapons and some type of security service, that I think is gonna be the best.
yeah,
Hmm.
yes, cash money. We talked about that earlier. That Caledonia, Australia, New Zealand, and now New Caledonia have all had fires at LDS chapels. Whether they were electrical or arson has yet to be determined.
Hmm.
Yep, this month.
This month alone, yes.
Yeah. And I will say too, I'm not fond of the LDS church. If I had my
What?
way, the LDS church and all of Christianity would be illegal here in Mongolia, and anyone who was a member should be arrested, my opinion. But I will say, I do think it is sad that, like, in America, where there is freedom of religion, that Mormon churches are targeted and people are suffering because of it.
Yes.
Like,
I think
I
all
think
churches are
I
targeted.
not so much in America. I mean, some are, but
I
just in
think
general, you know what
I
I mean?
think
Like
any
any
gathering,
church.
yeah,
Yeah,
any
it's
gathering
like,
of people.
if America's based, because America's not Mongolia, America's not India. Like, we have anti-conversion laws, we have anti-proselyting laws. America doesn't. So in America, I think it's Yeah, I think it's just really sad that it's, people are being targeted violently just because they're members of the church. That's fucked up.
More people should be like Dave. If you're not fond of the church, move to Mongolia.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Well, and that's the thing, because I mean, like, and I fully acknowledge that, like, here, yeah, my opinion on, like, the LDS Church, it's just an opinion. Ultimately, what the Mongolian government's going to do whatever whatever it feels like doing, and that's fine. But I think that America should, have that freedom.
Kinder Kim, the synagogues I've been to have actually locks on their doors are magnetically locked. When you go in for services, they lock the doors. They tell you we're locking the doors. So they don't mess around. Once you're in the building, and you can go out, but you can't come in. At least the 2 or 3 that I've been in San Luis Obispo, I visited when I went there with my late wife. So, yeah.
So, Tim,
Yes.
there's one other question I had. Other than your own history with church security, and the Nauvoo Legion, we could go back in time and say that was sort of like church security, right?
It was, yes.
And then did they have very much security in Utah?
They had Porter Rockwell and Hickman.
Wild West
Hickman. Wild
West security.
Wild West
And then,
security.
When did church leaders start to have bodyguards since then?
Probably in the 40s. I'm guessing the 40s and the 50s. Well, Martell Byrd came in the 60s from the FBI, said that they needed to do something. Probably in the 50s or definitely the 60s is when all this stuff started to happen.
Well,
protests against the church.
What?
How long have general authorities had security detail?
Since at least the 80s. Since the 80s.
So it's
70s or
important
80s.
to them that they don't get hurt. They don't get shot. They've got a whole fleet of Secret Service, LDS Secret Service around them. Why aren't they doing something for the members? Are they more important than the members?
Yes, they're more important than the members. The members aren't important. The members are a liability. They're not an asset. They're a liability.
Right?
Yep.
To the corporation.
Exactly.
To the corporation.
And I remember the church bought like a 50,000 square foot building that they were going to train their own security at.
Well,
and then it received publicity. I think then they stopped it for some reason.
Yeah, Lavender. They you know what? A rock in front of the door wouldn't have stopped the guy in Michigan because he plowed into the chapel. And I don't know if when he plowed the front wall of the chapel, if he got out and was able to get into the chapel that way, or if he went through a door. I'm unclear on that detail.
He went through his own hole that he made with his truck.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
well, and this is, I think the larger picture is like, if we take a step back, we're talking about America and gun culture and things like that. It's interesting to me that in America, and I've talked about this with my wife, and I think I mentioned this on another podcast, but it's interesting to me that in America, people hate religion, right? Like, they want to see it destroyed. They want to see churches shot up. People hate religion. Like, that's the atheism in America. They want to destroy religion. Here in Mongolia and other parts of Asia, and even in India, there are people who do not believe in God, but they're just seculars. They appreciate the religious heritage of their nature. They just choose not to participate. They don't want to destroy it. They don't want to burn it down. They have no qualms about it. But like in America,
that's not atheism. That's anti-theism.
Now, the reason for that is that the way that these liars are about America as a Christian country and was founded as a Christian nation. All this bullshit, which is not historical at all, but they want to make it that way. They want to shove their religion down our throats, you know,
Yeah.
where they believe they're superior to everybody else and that they're better than the rest of us. That's the problem, is you've got these Christians who think they're superior because they're saved. And it's like something I wrote down.
So that is an issue.
It's the freedom of religion.
Yes.
Maybe there also should be some apologies coming forth.
This is what I've written. You Christians
Not from the church.
You Christians believe you have the moral high ground and look down on us or anyone who does not believe, like you do, for no reason whatsoever. Other than your book, you believe you have moral authority over unbelievers. You believe without any proof that you're better than anyone else. Plus, you're always trying to convert us to something we have been there and done that. Quite frankly, it does not work for us, any of us anymore. All religions are mythology and all made up by men and women, and ultimately they turn evil. You want to legislate morality and foisted your beliefs on us that way. You have no right to tell anyone else how to live their lives according to your beliefs. Your religion is toxic. Yeah, and it is. I mean,
I think
look at how people have based their lives on this mythology.
Mhm.
You know, they're so scared of their own shadow. I mean, when they preach about the second coming, a friend of mine, a teacher of mine who was raised in a Pentecostal church, came home one day and his family was gone. He thought the rapture had happened. He had anxiety over that for years. You know, they scared
And they just
these
ditched him.
people to death. Well, they went shopping, but they didn't.
Oh, okay.
You know, he
Probably
came home
just were
from
gone
school and
forever.
he came
Yeah,
home.
exactly.
Well, he came home from school and nobody was there. His mom was usually there. He says nobody was home, and I freaked out. You know, because I thought the rapture had happened and they didn't take me.
I want to know what the
You're
difference
living in
is.
fear.
I
Okay.
want to know what the difference is here because the only difference I can think of um, is that Christianity is like a foreign religion to America, but in
Yes.
other countries that have the exact same thing, like you go to India, Hindus will look down on you if
Well,
you're not Hindu. And there's
America,
like,
America has more religious sects than any other country in the world. I mean, they
yep,
I love
came here
religious
from
sects.
Europe and they created. I mean, you look at all the breakoffs that have happened in America.
yeah,
They all claim they're Christian. There's 50,000 Christian denominations, and the majority of them are in America. You know, I
I
mean, the
wonder if
people
that's
that,
it then, because like America has like this break off and all these splinter groups that are all fighting each other. But like, I mean, I'm Hindu. If I go to India, we're all Hindu. Even like
right.
I fall under the cult of Shakti, the denomination of Shaktism. But if someone falls under another denomination, we're all Hindu. We don't dispute this. But Christianity does.
Yeah, I think
Christian
it's
Exactly.
denominations fight. So maybe that's the
Well,
difference then.
I think it's
Christians
the
are going to
freedom of
say
religion.
Christians are going to say we all believe the same thing. We all believe in Jesus. Blah 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 blah. But when they get down to it, they disagree on minor points. You know, I'm a
My
Christian.
Jesus can whip your Jesus's ass, Tim.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I asked them, okay, what is God to you? When you use that word God, what does it mean? Tell me what it means to you. They can't even tell me that, you know, or who is Jesus? They can't tell me. They can't define it. They won't define it. They refuse to define it when asked that question.
Well, I think most places they have like a official state religion, and so people are forced to believe that, and it's easy to see that it's garbage when you're forced to do it. But in America, we have
Yeah,
freedom of religion, so there's all this competition to have the most addictive or most like appealing religion.
like
There's so much
in
money in it that it creates all this competition, and they get more exploitative and more money making,
Yeah.
and that's why I
And
think the big problem comes in.
Billions
in
and
Ge-
billions of souls saved.
in
Yeah,
Yeah.
Germany, you have three state religions. You have
yeah.
Catholics, Protestants, and Mormons are recognized as a state religion. They are, stop it, guys.
I'm sorry.
My cats are trying to get the food.
Yeah, in India, the state religion is technically secular, but the three official religions are Hinduism, Bollywood, and cricket. So,
Yeah. But they said free market, like, hey, just whatever you want, Indians. Like, there'd be all this crazy, like America, like, go
well,
to
no,
anarchy.
because the culture's different, and I think both of you kind of
Yeah, take a lot
brought
of
this
time.
up. Well, both of you brought this up, and it makes sense because the different denominations of Christianity all fight and say, we are the true Christians, you are
That's right.
not real
That's
Christians.
right.
Now, in India, if you
Yeah.
worship Lord Shiva in the north and you go to, or I'm sorry, in the south, and you go to the north, Lord Shiva is called Malhari, right? It's a
Mm.
different incarnation, but it's the same thing. So it's the same culture. So, and that kind of goes back to the point where, like, in India specifically, you'll have a ton of different Hindus. Like, there's a saying that I've heard: you ask 10 Hindus to define Hinduism, you'll get 2,000 different answers, right?
Yeah.
But it's all Hindu. We all see each other as
Exactly.
one thing, but Christians don't. And I
No.
think
Yeah.
you guys brought that up. I think that's the core difference in the culture.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
competition.
all these Christians, these white evangelicals, these white nationalist Christians, all would hate each other if it weren't for MAGA. You know,
Yeah, it's all
they've all
competition.
joined forces, but individually they hate each other. They argue with each other.
The enemy,
That makes sense.
my enemy
No,
is my
that
friend.
makes
He's my
sense.
friend.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that
It's like
makes
a
sense
corporate
because
rivals.
because you look at Islam and they do the same thing. Like in Palestine right now, Hamas is fighting other Muslim like splinter groups because they
Islam's
want
really
control.
divided. Yeah, Islam's probably more divided
it's the
than
exact
anything.
same thing. But the moment that like a Westerner comes in with the military, they drop all that shit and then they like all team up. But the
All
Yeah.
team
moment
up.
that the moment there's no universal enemy, then they just turn on each other.
Islam is really divided.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
So anyway, that's church security.
Well, we've
let's-
kind of talked about church security, but no,
Yeah.
the church it should do something. They probably won't because we know whatever we think they're going to do, they do the exact opposite. Like we all thought Bednar was going to go in. Nope, he picked Christofferson. Okay, fine. You know, whatever.
Well, with church security, one thing I think would be interesting is get a sign that just says the church isn't true or whatever, just a small sign. Go to Temple Square and then walk in there and take it out and see how long it takes you to get kicked off the property. That'll be a good test of church security, probably like 5 seconds. Like they have that so monitored, you know?
Do you remember when you walk onto Temple Square, there used to be those little boxes with windows? That's where church security sat at every single entrance. They built a little office for them to stand in because that's what Steve showed me. Where all the church security was, they had cameras all over the place. They would watch people.
Like 5 seconds.
Yeah, like 5 minutes, you know, and they get rid of you. You'd be gone in like 5 to 10 minutes.
That'd be a fun experiment.
And get them. Yeah, it would be.
But, be like, I wonder how long it'll last. Let's see. Take bets.
Well, I remember the people standing outside, handing out the pamphlets. The guys dressed in temple clothes and stuff.
Giving out coffee. You handed out coffee. I remember that as a kid. Try to get everyone to drink coffee. You want free coffee?
The church could learn a great deal from the Walt Disney Company. I know that's a whole nother conversation, but the security there is unbelievable. And the thing is, people don't even know that they're being watched. It's the happiest place on earth.
Yeah.
But
happy control.
That's
cameras
a different
everywhere.
discussion for a different time. We're going on 2 hours here. So
That's right. So anyway, thanks everybody for the conversation. We're going to have an after show if anybody wants to hop
Join
on
up.
there.
Put the link in the
I'll put the
chat.
link into this chat again. And we'll say thanks for watching.
Thank you.
See you next week. We'll see what happens. And
take care.
There's no more raptures planned.
Yeah.
Are all the raptures over now?
I don't
you
know.
missed it, buddy.
Hang on.
You didn't get chosen.
Wasn't like October 7th the last rapture?
The Atlas meteorite is coming, and that's part of Project Bluebeam because that's how they have to fake alien invasion for
Heaven's
the
Gate
Antichrist to show up.
Heaven's Gate.
We'll have to get
Signs of the times.
We'll have to get the backyard
17th?
professor on
It
that.
was
Yeah.
September 23rd was the last one. That didn't
There'll be
happen.
another one around the corner.
There'll be another one. Oh, is it next week our 2-year anniversary?
A 1-year
2 year.
anniversary on
1
the
year.
22nd.
The
So yeah,
22nd.
we'll have next week.
1 year.
We'll do 2 things. We'll have the anniversary show, and there was something else that you talked about.
The Paul Toscano. Dang it.
Yeah, the 50 ways to leave your lover.
The
No.
50 questions that Paul Toscano asks of podcasters. We're going to answer them each individually. So
Yeah. So that'll be a fun show, maybe.
Uh,
It'll be like a test.
Mr. Brother Gene Gene Davis, Brother Judson has posted the link. I'm having a stroke apparently. Has posted the link
to the
for
after show. In the chat.
Feel free to come join us because that's where it really gets juicy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody wave goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.